Have you ever thought about why your mother drives you up the wall in ways that seem almost otherworldly? Or why your father's anger stirs up such deep-seated feelings within you that it feels like it's from another era? What if I told you that Edgar Cayce, America's most thoroughly documented psychic, uncovered through more than 14,000 readings that the dynamics within your family aren't coincidental? Instead, they stem from soul agreements made in past lives. Before we explore these astonishing insights, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to learn will transform your perspective on every family dispute, every inexplicable attraction, and every seemingly unchangeable family dynamic. Be sure to share your own family enigmas in the comments below, as this video will provide you with a fresh perspective on them. Today, I will unveil 3 astonishing insights from Cayce's recorded readings. First, we will explore how your present family members occupied entirely different positions in your previous lives. Second, we'll discuss why some relatives provoke such strong reactions in you. Lastly, we'll identify the unique life lessons you are meant to experience together in this lifetime. Edgar Cayce, often referred to as the Sleeping Prophet, performed his readings from his residence in Virginia Beach between 1901 and 1944. However, what many individuals may be unaware of is that approximately 2,500 of his sessions focused explicitly on familial ties and connections from previous lives. These were not ambiguous statements. Cayce offered precise names, dates, and details that families could confirm through historical investigation. In session 2067-1, Cayce informed a woman that her domineering mother had once been her superior officer in ancient Egypt, where they collaborated in the temples. The woman had served as a junior priest who perpetually challenged her mother's authority. Does this ring a bell? Cayce shared that they opted to come back as a mother and daughter duo to address an age-old power conflict. However, this time the dynamic was somewhat shifted. Now the daughter possessed the spiritual insight the mother was in search of. But here's where it becomes even more intriguing. 6 months later, the woman reached out to Cayce, saying that after grasping this connection, she began to perceive her mother's controlling actions as a sign of spiritual insecurity instead of a personal affront. Almost immediately, their relationship underwent a significant transformation. This isn't merely a relic of the past. These dynamics are unfolding in your own home at this very moment. Consider your most challenging family connection, the individual who knows exactly how to unsettle you. Cayce disclosed that these strong reactions aren't simply odd psychological traits. Memories of their soul are coming to light. During reading 1772, he elaborated to an individual the reason behind the inexplicable anger he felt towards his younger brother's achievements. In a former existence in early America, they had been partners in business, where the brother deceived him out of a lucrative trading post, resulting in his financial downfall and death in destitution. In reading 254.68, Cayce disclosed something that even took his stenographer Gladys Davis by surprise. The people we share the closest connections with in this lifetime are frequently those with whom we have unresolved matters from past lives. However, here's the pivotal shift that transforms everything regarding family relationships. Cayce found that our placement in families is not coincidental. We intentionally select our family members prior to birth to navigate karmic debts and acquire certain lessons collectively. In numerous documented instances, Cayce uncovered how family roles have been exchanged through different lifetimes. The dominating father, for example, had previously been the overlooked child. The defiant teenager had taken on the role of the strict parent. Meanwhile, the family's designated scapegoat had become the favored child. These shifts in roles are not mere cosmic pranks. They represent thoughtfully designed learning experiences. Allow me to present one of the most striking examples from the ARE archives that will astonish you regarding sibling competition. In 1932, a desperate mother approached Cayce, deeply concerned about her two sons, aged 8 and 10, whose violent fights left her fearing for their safety. She found that conventional disciplinary methods had completely failed. While examining 987-2, Cayce discovered that these two souls had previously been gladiators in ancient Rome, where they fought to the death in the arena. In their last battle, the elder brother killed the younger, only to be overwhelmed by regret and subsequently died from his grief and guilt. Reincarnated as siblings, they sought to learn the value of cooperation rather than rivalry. Yet the traumatic memories of their fatal encounter continued to manifest through their childhood altercations. Cayce suggested particular prayers and visualizations that the mother could use to mend the deep-rooted rift between the souls involved. Later on, she shared that after adhering to Cayce's recommendations for 2 months, her sons developed an incredibly close friendship that lasted throughout their lives. Now let me clarify what this signifies for your family today, and shortly, I will share the exact method Cayce provided for addressing family karma. However, before that, I want to highlight something that will transform your perspective on every family gathering from now on. In reading 1436-21, Cayce conveyed that family karma encompasses more than just navigating negative cycles. At times, we take on physical forms together because we belong to the same soul group, intertwined for thousands of years, united by love and a shared spiritual mission. He recounted to one family that they had previously shared lives during Atlantis's golden era, serving as healers and educators in the Temple of Sacrifice. They had pledged to reunite repeatedly through many lifetimes to advance their spiritual journey together. The challenges they face within their family weren't meant as punishments. Instead, they act as refinements, akin to how a skilled jeweler polishes gems. This sheds light on why certain families, despite their difficulties, possess an unbreakable connection that transcends mere blood relations. It goes beyond mere genetics. It's about recognizing souls. This is where Cayce's insights dive into astonishing revelations surrounding familial patterns that appear intractable. In reading 33-561, a woman inquired of Cayce why her family had seen 3 generations of women marry men who struggled with alcoholism despite their intelligence and good intentions. Cayce explained that during the time of the Crusades, these souls belonged to a religious society where the men had taken promises of poverty and spiritual dedication, yet they secretly indulged in wine and other excesses, all while projecting an image of piety. The women, for their part, had played a role in shielding the men's actions to safeguard the community's image. They were now coming into existence together to understand the distinction between providing support and offering true spiritual assistance. This cycle would persist until a generation made a different choice. The woman broke this pattern by rejecting her alcoholic fiancé and prioritizing her own spiritual growth. Her daughter witnessed this example and chose to marry a man dedicated to authentic spiritual advancement. However, let's not forget the method Cayce shared for healing family karma, which has benefited thousands of families across the globe. In his discussion of 1292-1, Cayce described a practice he referred to as the family forgiveness meditation. He elaborated that since souls are interconnected throughout time, any healing performed by one member of the family during meditation can benefit the entire lineage, both ancestral and future generations. This technique entails sitting in silence each morning and envisioning each relative enveloped in white light, followed by extending thoughts of forgiveness for any grievances caused in this life or in past lives, and concluding with appreciation for the lessons shared. The surprising aspect of this meditation, according to Cayce, is that it has effects that span both past and future timelines. It has the power to mend the bonds with ancestors who have passed away and foster improved connections with future generations yet to arrive. One woman shared her experience of how, after engaging in this meditation for 6 months, she received an unexpected call from her estranged father, who apologized for 2 decades of silence. Her teenage daughter, previously rebellious and filled with anger, began to open up to her once more. Even more astonishingly, she started dreaming of ancestors she had never known, who appeared to express gratitude for her efforts in healing long-standing family issues. Now, I will unveil the most significant insight Cayce discovered regarding why some family members can act as our most profound educators, even if they seem to be our most significant sources of distress. Cayce noted in his reading 1807 that prior to each new incarnation, souls gather in a space he described as the borderland between the physical and spiritual worlds to collaboratively outline their upcoming lives. In these planning meetings, souls often choose to take on challenging roles for one another. For instance, your most demanding family member might have been a close friend in the spirit realm, willing to adopt a difficult role in this lifetime to help you cultivate traits like patience, forgiveness, or self-worth. This perspective alters the dynamics of familial blame and victimization, particularly regarding that critical parent who always seemed dissatisfied. They might have served as your spiritual guide in the afterlife, consciously choosing to motivate you towards self-acceptance by withholding their approval. That sibling who often appeared to be the favorite might have taken on that role willingly, allowing you to cultivate resilience and autonomy. A documented example from the ARE files perfectly demonstrates this concept. A prosperous entrepreneur approached Cayce, plagued by remorse for the cruel way he had treated his kind younger sister during their formative years. He had relentlessly bullied her, and now that they were adults, she battled with depression and a lack of self-confidence. While reading 2796-1, Cayce disclosed that in a previous life, she had been a formidable queen who had treated him as an insignificant servant, subjecting him to public humiliation and shattering his spirit. However, there's an intriguing twist. Cayce shared that prior to her current life, she had wished to encounter powerlessness in order to cultivate compassion and humility. The businessman had consented to aid her in this journey, even knowing it meant carrying the burden of being the one who harmed her. Cayce mentioned that the greatest service he could offer now was to assist in restoring her confidence and self-worth, thereby completing the karmic cycle through love rather than vengeance. The entrepreneur transformed his attitude towards his sister, evolving into her biggest advocate and source of motivation. In time, she overcame her depression and emerged as a thriving therapist, assisting others in overcoming childhood trauma. This illustrates a profound truth concerning family karma. It isn't focused on punishment, but rather on love manifesting through different lifetimes in ways that our restricted human viewpoint may not fully grasp. However, Cayce shared insights on overcoming detrimental family dynamics that could offer you hope if you are facing challenges at this moment. In reading 37442, Cayce described how family karma can be changed within a single lifetime by the actions of just one family member who opts to respond with love rather than react. He referred to this individual as the family healer, the one who disrupts the cycle of inherited emotional patterns through a deliberate spiritual decision. Every family has the possibility for a healer to arise. That healer could be you. Cayce provided particular advice for stepping into the role of your family's healer. To begin with, interpret every family dispute as a spiritual trial rather than an assault on your character. Next, make it a habit to pray for your challenging family members each day, not requesting their transformation, but seeking insight into their soul's path. Lastly, seek the spiritual teaching within each familial challenge. What characteristic is this circumstance prompting you to cultivate? The findings recorded in the ARE archives are extraordinary. Families that have been fragmented by years of animosity have mended within a matter of months. Adult children who were estranged from their parents have come together after prolonged periods of silence. Additionally, families facing issues like addiction, abuse, and mental health challenges have discovered routes toward forgiveness and compassion. Allow me to present one last example that illustrates the remarkable healing that can occur when we view family dynamics as soul contracts. A woman reached out to Cayce regarding her grown son, who had developed a substance abuse problem, committing theft from the family and going missing for extended periods. She was thinking about severing all ties to safeguard herself and her other children. While reading 1567 to Cayce, it was revealed that in Atlantis, she had served as a temple priestess who became tainted by power, misleading numerous spiritual seekers with her erroneous teachings. Her son was among her most loyal pupils, and his spiritual journey had been deeply harmed by her betrayal, ultimately leading to his death in anguish. After losing faith in all forms of spiritual guidance, they returned together as mother and son so she could experience unconditional love, while he could learn to trust once more, despite his past disappointments. Cayce suggested that cutting her son off would merely recreate a cycle of abandonment from the past, advising her instead to establish loving boundaries while not enabling his harmful actions. He anticipated that if she could support his healing journey without attempting to dictate it, he would ultimately return to a place of sobriety and spiritual well-being. For 3 years, she adhered to Cayce's advice, keeping in touch while denying assistance in the form of money or shelter for his destructive ways. Eventually, her son sought recovery and went on to become a counselor, assisting others in their own healing. He frequently expressed that his mother's steadfast love, paired with clear boundaries, was instrumental in saving his life. This illustrates the strength of perceiving family dynamics through the perspectives of reincarnation and karma. Challenges that may seem insurmountable transform into chances for deep healing, encompassing not only this life, but the everlasting journey of the soul. Your family members are more than mere individuals you were born alongside. They represent your spiritual education, thoughtfully selected to facilitate the growth of the qualities essential for your soul's development. Each tough conversation offers an opportunity to cultivate patience, and every act of forgiveness represents progress towards spiritual liberation. Each act of comprehension not only alleviates current suffering, but also addresses years of built-up anguish. Edgar Cayce's insights suggest that we are all engaged in a magnificent celestial interplay of spirits, taking on various roles throughout the ages to facilitate mutual growth. The criticism from your mother, the emotional absence of your father, the achievements of your sibling, and the defiance of your child all contribute to the overarching aim of spiritual development. However, there is a startling revelation that Cayce made regarding familial DNA, which modern science is just beginning to grasp. In reading 281-7, Cayce clarified that our inheritance extends beyond merely the physical genes passed down by our parents. We inherit what he referred to as soul patterns, which contain the emotional and spiritual traces of experiences from past lives. This implies that fears, skills, character traits, and even health issues that appear to run in families are not merely genetic. Rather, they are karmic legacies passed down through soul lineages. An illustrative case from 1938 demonstrates this concept. A family approached Cayce due to 3 generations of women dying young from heart-related ailments, with the current generation feeling immense fear. In his reading 1924-1, Cayce disclosed that these souls had been connected in ancient Persia, where they betrayed their spiritual guide out of jealousy, effectively shattering his heart with their treachery. The issues with heart health transcended mere medical diagnoses. They served as karmic signals, highlighting the necessity to mend their ability to trust and remain loyal. Cayce offered targeted meditations and dietary advice, but more crucially, he helped them realize that confronting past betrayals and seeking atonement through community service would disrupt this ongoing cycle. The woman who benefited from this insight lived until the age of 89, ultimately becoming a celebrated healer, and none of her daughters or granddaughters experienced similar heart complications. This suggests a groundbreaking perspective on what we define as generational trauma. In reality, it manifests as generational karma, which can be addressed through intentional spiritual practices. Here's the method that Cayce described as capable of breaking any inherited family patterns, a technique so straightforward yet so impactful that families across the globe continue to practice it today. In the reading 1152-11, he detailed what he referred to as the ancestral healing prayer. He advised that each morning for a period of 40 days, you should imagine your family tree as a luminous tree of light, with each member depicted as a radiant leaf. Then, you should recite the following words. I extend love and forgiveness to all souls within my family lineage, past, present, and future. I let go of all inherited suffering and embrace only the wisdom passed down to me. I serve as the healer for my family lineage, but the revelation is truly astonishing. According to Cayce, this prayer is effective because time is merely an illusion in the spiritual world. By sending healing energy to your ancestors, you are, in fact, transforming the spiritual DNA of your entire family tree, impacting both those relatives who lived centuries ago and future descendants who have yet to be born. A woman from Texas recorded her experience after undertaking this 40-day practice. Her elderly grandmother unexpectedly began to recount family stories that had never been shared before, providing profound insights that helped 3 generations unravel long-held family mysteries. Even more surprisingly, her teenage nephew, who resided far away and was unaware of her prayer efforts, reached out to say he had been experiencing vivid dreams about their ancestors and felt inspired to explore the family genealogy. Allow me to share Cayce's most provocative finding regarding family dynamics that many may find hard to accept. In her analysis of 5749-8, Cayce suggested that some of our most challenging relatives are, in fact, advanced souls who have chosen to take on darker roles to enhance our spiritual evolution. These individuals are willing to risk their own reputations and connections in this lifetime to act as catalysts for the enlightenment of others. Consider the family member viewed as the outcast, the one who frequently stirs up trouble, makes unwise decisions, or questions family principles. Cayce revealed that these individuals are often the most spiritually developed members of the family, having volunteered to embody the shadow traits so that others can learn about compassion, forgiveness, and unconditional love. While this does not justify harmful actions, it shifts the perspective to view them as a form of spiritual service instead of a personal flaw. An exemplary case that demonstrates this concept will forever alter your perception of family scapegoats. In 1941, a prosperous family sought the help of Cayce due to their youngest son, whom they regarded as a source of shame. He had forsaken his affluent upbringing to pursue a life as a drifting artist, frequently experiencing homelessness and battling alcohol dependency. The family was curious if there was an issue with his spirit. In his reading 25-37, Cayce disclosed that this young man had once been a pharaoh in ancient Egypt, enjoying a life of extravagance while his subjects endured hardship. Throughout various lifetimes, he repeatedly prioritized wealth and social standing over spiritual growth. In the current life, however, he had deliberately opted for poverty and adversity to cultivate humility and compassion. The surprising twist, according to Cayce, was that his family's disapproval and criticism of his chosen journey were obstructing his ability to grasp these lessons and generating negative karma for them. The challenges faced by the son were ultimately contributing to the spiritual growth of the family, illustrating that love should not rely on achievement or social rank. Cayce suggested that the family emotionally back their son while permitting him to navigate his challenging journey. He anticipated that after the son grasped his karmic lessons, he would emerge as a wellspring of wisdom and motivation for the whole family. Subsequently, the family shared that when they ceased their attempts to fix their son and instead embraced him with unconditional love and support, he slowly charted a course towards sobriety and blossomed into a successful artist dedicated to assisting the homeless and underprivileged. Ultimately, he evolved into the family member who others sought for spiritual counsel. This underscores a significant aspect of family dynamics. At times, the individual who appears to be the most adrift is actually revealing the spiritual blind spots of the entire family. When your relatives push your buttons, keep in mind that you might be witnessing souls who care for you deeply enough to take on the difficult role of your spiritual educators. By choosing to respond with love rather than reacting emotionally, you could be the one to heal generations of karma and liberate your entire soul group. Additionally, there is one more profound insight from Cayce that might send chills down your spine regarding the true essence of familial bonds. In reference to 37-4-44, Cayce clarified that Earth serves as a spiritual university where souls participate in the lessons of love. Our families serve as our main learning environments, and each connection we have is a thoughtfully structured lesson in nurturing our souls. The family members who challenge us the most frequently turn out to be our greatest instructors, offering us complex spiritual trials that can significantly boost our personal development. Recognizing this transforms each family meal into a doctoral-level course on patience. Each disagreement within the family becomes an advanced workshop on forgiveness. Every instance of love shared among family members offers a flash of divine awareness manifesting through our human interactions. If this video has helped you gain insight into the deeper significance of your family connections, please consider clicking the like button and sharing it with someone who may benefit from this message. Don't forget to subscribe for more insights from the remarkable readings of Edgar Cayce, and feel free to comment below about which family relationship you now perceive in an entirely new perspective. The path to understanding is endless, just as the possibilities for healing and love are limitless. Keep in mind that every family gathering is essentially a reunion of timeless souls, coming together once more to continue the eternal journey of learning to love without conditions. It truly is a wonderful honor to partake in such a sacred journey, where each challenge serves as a chance for spiritual growth and every loving act resonates throughout eternity.